Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Xbox One.
TV experience. TV. TV and movies. TV. Xbox. Watch TV. 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 Watch TV. TV. TV and TV remote. TV experience. TV. 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 Sports TV. 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 Anybody? TV. TV. MTV. TV. 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 Xbox. Go home.
TV. 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 TV.
Sports, 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 sports,
Sports. Sport. Television. Television. TV. Television.
Television, 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 TV, TV, TV. Xbox is about to become the next water cooler. Sports.
Television, television, television. I'm thrilled to announce a live-action Halo television series.
Television, TV, sports, sports, sport.
Television,
TV. 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 For Call of Duty.
Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, an entirely new Call of Duty for the next generation. Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty,
Call of Duty, Call of Duty. One of the fascinating new additions to your squad is a dog. This is someone you care about. Call of Duty, 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 Call of Duty. All of the new story element. Call of Duty,
Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty.
Our new dog model is taken from high-resolution scans of an actual SEAL Team service dog.
Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty.
Xbox. Go home.
Welcome everyone to a special edition UGP.
This ain't frickin' special. I'm pissed.
Stop interrupting.
No,
It's special.
I'm not.
It is special, okay? In its own
Yes,
merits
as
and
in
its
like
own
the
rights.
short bus. Yeah, it's going straight on the short bus special. This is fucking.
Okay, we are going to discuss everything regarding the new Xbox, which, let's start off with the name. Now, I, for one, think it's a horrible name. Would you agree?
I couldn't give two squirts about the name. I'm pissed off about everything else.
Okay,
but yeah, the
but,
name.
okay, but the
retarded.
name, but the
Starting
name,
with the name, it's retarded.
yeah,
It's
the
retarded.
name is like, I mean, Xbox Fusion or Xbox Infinity. Those are all
Delta,
like
man.
awesome.
Delta.
Yeah, which you were like betting on hard yesterday.
Yeah, I was.
I mean, Xbox One. I think they're trying to do like the HTC One or something like that.
Yeah, no.
But the problem is you already have an Xbox One. It's the original Xbox. It's
Yeah.
like with the PlayStation series. Everyone considers the original PlayStation PS1, PlayStation 1. You know, like that's...
The kicker is that with this and the original Xbox, if somebody wants to trade it in, it's going to turn into a horrible version of Who's on First.
Oh,
just
yeah.
with Xboxes.
Exactly. Or like you said, like some people said, you know how like people are confused with the Wii U, where they think it's an accessory for the original Wii. People are going to be confused with the Xbox One. They're going to be like, well, why would I want to buy the Xbox One when the 360 has a larger name?
Yeah,
Like its
unfortunately,
value is higher.
Yes, that's right, folks. We think you plebeians are that stupid. Because unfortunately, the general populace is that stupid.
Yeah. Now, let's transition from the stupid name to the stupid design. The thing looks like a fucking VCR.
It looks, actually, to be honest, this occurred, the entire presentation occurred while I was at work. And while I was reading my RSS feeds while it was happening, the first picture I saw of it, the coworker I have right next to me asked, dude, that looks like an old Nintendo. Yes. From a distance, it looks like the old frickin' Nintendo.
Just spray painted black.
And you know what, the design, I get it. You know what? Blocky is the new in.
Well,
and
not blocky, but look at the high gloss on one side. It literally looks like a cable box.
once again, that's still not even the worst part of all this.
But it is a considerable thing because the thing looks hideous. It doesn't even resemble a gaming console. It doesn't.
Because it's not a gaming console anymore. It's a set-top box. It's a living room PC.
A $20 gaming rig case from Micro Center looks sexier than that thing.
Well, it doesn't really matter because the people who are buying it are too stupid to actually care about how it looks.
Well, no.
Okay,
I mean,
and
everyone...
let's switch from how it looks to the insides. An 8-core CPU.
Okay,
what?
Fine. I was gonna say there's more to the looks. That fucking camera is creepy.
There's nothing to the looks. You've seen a Kinect before. It's just been molded.
Look, the fact that this thing has to be hooked up all the time, it's kind of starting to creep me out. Like, it's starting to become like, as they say, what was it, the 1984? Or you're starting to look at something out of like iRobot, where the computer always sees what you're doing.
If it takes this to creep you out and not the fact that any webcam that is physically connected to a computer can be accessed without you being alerted, you obviously are way behind when it comes to auditing network security. Trust me, you should have been paranoid decades ago.
No,
As of right now,
I see nothing wrong with the webcam on my computers.
Doesn't matter. You just have a camera again on another device. You have two on your phone as like a freaking default, which, by the way, are also easily accessible for anyone who does security auditing. So for anyone who's going to bring that up, because I know that was going to be the first thing up, for anyone who brings up the idea that, hey, it's got a camera, it's going to freak me out because it's always on. Yeah, you also have a cell phone that you take with you probably to the bathroom, depending on who you are, with a camera on it, or a tablet with a camera on it, or a computer with a camera on it. And let's face it, a lot of the things we do in front of computers are not the types of things that we want recorded.
Exactly.
So if you haven't been paranoid about that before, catch up.
Basically, what would happen is American Pie.
Yeah, whatever. But that's still, even then, even the Big Brother is still not the worst part of all this.
Okay, proceed. The controller, we'll have to go, before we go into hardware specs, I want to get the whole design aspect out
and the
of the
hardware
way.
specs aren't the worst part, but yes, let's look at the controller.
I don't mind the controller. I actually think it looks better, especially the D-pad. The biggest problem with the 360 controller was that damn D-pad. That thing is just horrible. But it looks like they changed the ergonomics a bit, which I think is awesome. I like the whole black on black. It looks like there's like Kevlar put on the friggin' joysticks. Like, if you look at it, it's weird. It has this like mesh-like design around the edges of it, where it has the concaveness in the center. And I think it's actually an interesting idea. One question I have is it built-in rechargeable, or because he mentioned redesigning the battery pack. So are they going to stick with fucking AA's, or are they going to actually go to something more, modern?
Yeah, probably maybe a contact port or something like that. And you know what? Yeah, the controller, it looks like an Xbox controller. There's not really much of a difference. But that's still not the worst part of it all.
It gets worse. Well, go ahead, just do it. I'm going to take the leash off. You rip it a new one.
No. Let's keep going, because
Okay.
everyone knows exactly where I'm going to like freaking lose it. But let's go. Let's go there step by step.
Yeah, now let's look at the software. Okay, the UI is based heavily off of Windows 8. They're using
it's basically a Windows 8 machine. Don't step around the edges, my friend. It's a Windows 8 machine.
Yeah. It runs a Windows kernel.
I mean, what do you want? What more do you want? It's no longer a proprietary. It's a Windows 8 kernel.
Can you say easily hackable? The fact that they're using the same kernel that everyone has on their PCs doesn't make it any more secure.
Still not the worst part.
Okay, well, they're not going to have free online access.
Still not the worst part. Let's take a look at the hardware itself.
Yes.
8-core CPU, 8 gigabit system memory. Ooh, whoa, we got a badass over here.
Well,
500 gigabyte hard drive standard. Ooh, Blu-ray drive. My goodness, I seem to have caught a bad case of the vapors. HDMI in and out, USB 3.0 built-in, 802.11n wireless with Wi-Fi direct. Yeah, you know what? Didn't we already hear all this shit before?
Yeah.
Back in like 04, 05?
Well, USB 3 didn't exist. Well, USB 3 was starting to become
being
announced,
developed.
Ben. Yeah, but
yeah, back then the first USB 3 was already built in Intel. Probably only one or two existed, but that's not the point. I'm just saying, like we said before, this is just a really advanced, nice, high-grade system from back in 04. Nice, but you know what? For that price that they're probably going to put this up, that is going to be between $400 to $450 easy.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm curious. I mean, is Microsoft going to basically take a hit so they can just like stomp around the market? I mean, the thing is, yeah, it's going to include the camera. The camera, what did the Kinect's camera cost? So wasn't it like $150 $150 or something like that.
$150,
Yeah.
but you could get it for $70 if you bought it in a bundle. Now
Yes.
and
This
by the
thing
way,
is more
system
advanced.
Specs, yeah, the system specs from back then, still not the worst part. The fact that you need a freaking camera to actually operate it fully is still not the worst part.
Which, hey, the whole camera thing annoyed the shit out of me. Automatically, the moment they said Kinect has to be attached to the console at all times, I said, fuck it, I'm not getting it. I skipped the 360s, folks. I didn't need the 360 to be happy. I'm not going to need this piece of shit to be happy either.
What is it? Connection required all the time.
Yeah, it's not. You don't need a connection all the time.
No, it doesn't. But you can't play offline forever.
What do you mean?
The system requires, and this is coming in from The Verge, where I'm reading it in when they talk to Harrison himself. No, it does not have to always be connected, but Xbox One does require connection to the internet. So yeah, you could use limited parts of the functionality, but your system will lock up unless you connect it to the internet. So folks, get your rage faces on, because your Xbox is going to need to have an active connection to the internet, whether you pay for Xbox Live or not.
Well, that sucks. Because there's still a great populace that doesn't have internet.
And that's still not the worst part.
Well, I mean, okay, let's show off a little bit of the games. They talked about Forza 5, which, yeah.
We'll get to the games after I get to the worst part, but there's still a few things we need to go over, because there's a thing that we spoke about in the last episode that came true, but we'll get to that.
Use game lockouts?
Yeah, what the fuck? Use game lockouts? People, there's an entire industry based around fucking buying used games. There's an actual lockout feature built into the system to avoid that. Thanks a lot, Microsoft. But you know what? It's still not the worst part.
Now you got me enticed, because now I'm like trying to remember everything that was shown off. What exactly you pissed off about? It's not the name. It's not the design, which I really think the design is shit. It's not the fact that it runs a Windows kernel, which I also think will bite them in the ass in the long term. What do you call it? Oh, wait. Let me guess. It had to do with EA Sports.
We'll get to that, but that's still not the worst.
Oh, the EA Sports part was like, yeah.
That was shit, and that's shit for another reason that we'll get into, but it's still not.
I know what it is.
Here it is, folks.
I know
for those of you who have listened up to this point, Xbox One is not backward compatible.
Oh, I thought you were pissed off about the Halo TV series.
Oh, we'll get into that, and there's a different reason why I'm pissed off that. No, what I'm pissed off most about all this, and this is coming directly from The Verge as well, and it's coming from the mouth of Mark Whitten, Microsoft's vice president for Xbox Live.
Okay.
And I quote, "The system is based on a different core architecture, so backwards compatibility doesn't really work from that perspective. It is an official statement that Xbox One games and Xbox 360 games will no longer be available, not even through an option of download, not even through an option of freaking like actually having the software in front of you and being able to upload it to the system. No. Everything you own, useless now. Every game, every download, every purchase in the Xbox Live Marketplace, useless."
Yeah, it's the same thing with the PlayStation 4, which I made a video on. I said, look, PCs, I buy a game.
Yeah, but Sony is
not
fucking
gonna be a problem.
retarded, and they're Asian, so I automatically think, they're going to make bad decisions. It's part of their nature. But Microsoft has just pulled the finger on the entire freaking resource that has made it a global player when it comes to video games. Because lest we remember, less than 2 decades ago, Microsoft was only a software company, and then they jumped into the whole making a fucking video game console, which at the time everyone thought was crazy. But you know what? Us hard software folks fell in love with them with the first Xbox. Fell even more in love with them with the Xbox 360. And this is a cock slap, okay? This is a heaving cock slap across the face of every single person who has ever played or purchased an Xbox video game. Zero backwards compatibility. That is on the top tier of the worst parts of the system. We're not even getting into the presentation because, I got lots more for the presentation.
Well, let's actually. I think maybe we should really fully discuss, backwards compatibility as a whole. The thing is we've already been conditioned at this point that when you buy a next-gen console, you can at least expect the direct previous generation to be somewhat backwards compatible.
At the very least. And it's not like we're, demanding it. It's something that comes expected from the system because, well, you're coming from an architecture from the same people who built it. So they should at least be able to virtualize that architecture in the new architecture to run old games.
Hey, heck, I could guarantee the hardware that's in there can easily emulate a 360 environment. You can't tell me it can't. It has fucking 8-core processor. It's got 8 gigs of RAM. Cry me a river if the fucker cannot run emulation.
It's like watching some retard playing around with that little, at the doctor's office, you see that wooden piece of board, and it has a bunch of wires, and you need to move the little, fucking...
Yes, the little balls along the wires.
Yeah, and then having him scream out, abacus! It's like... it's like watching a retard think he is incredibly, genius and, deep and all that. It's... And today, coming back from work, I have a co-worker who gives me a ride home. The man is the epitome of everything that is dead in the world. I mean, he used to be a gamer. Now, apparently, if you pop out a child or two, you die inside. This man is the epitome. Like, oh, no. This is going to be incredible. And this guy is a programmer. I fucking work with him. This man is brilliant when it comes to technology. But it's just this concept of saying, hey, because it was like that before, obviously it's going to be better now. No, it's... Clearly, from the hardware specs, we're looking at a limited system no matter whether you want to say it's good or not. We're still looking at a limited architecture.
Of course.
Second, you're looking at a limited marketplace if you're taking away backwards compatibility. So, no, it's not good. The Xbox 360 right now is better than this theoretical system that hasn't hit the market yet.
Exactly.
And when it comes down to it, consumer confidence. You know how much of the marketplace you are destroying, how many stores and businesses you are going to destroy by actively going out against the used game group.
I don't think it will. I do not. At this point, yes, it sucks hearing it, but I am very confident that they will grow a brainstem and reverse that decision. Because customers will not tolerate that shit.
Then you have way too much hope in Microsoft.
No, I just think I think society, there is a limit to everything, and I think that is pushing that limit. I think that's crossing the line easily by saying, well, when you buy a game, you have to activate it. You have to have the internet to activate the fucking game, and then if you decide to sell it to somebody else, that person's going to have to pay.
No, they'll pull it off because the majority of the public won't care. And they'll let it slide.
No, but people said that about the original PlayStation 3. When the PlayStation 3 was originally conceived, part of it was actually you had to activate your game installs. You had to actually use a product key, and then it would render the game useless to any other console. They wanted to do it, but they ultimately reversed their decision due to customer backlash. Mm-hmm. They said, no, I ain't supporting that shit. I mean, you look at online passes.
That was back then when we didn't know what would happen when a decision like this was made on a system. But let's look at Forbes magazine in the last 2 years and its breakdown on an actual fucking this magazine actually took the time each year to catalog this.
Okay.
According to Forbes magazine, 70% of the gamer public, and this is people who actively, on all age brackets, buy a game more than once per month. So that's saying that's limiting the pool down a lot. There are people that naturally with limited incomes, they buy a few games every year. They only buy the titles that are the highest ranked, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
This is a person that at minimum buys a single game a month. So we're already restricting ourselves to the gaming aficionado, to people who put money into games.
Yes.
70% of that public is the one that actually sways the decision of these companies because these are the people that actually provide constant income.
Yes.
20% of this are people who buy more than that. This is us. This is the aficionado crowd. This is the people that actively take part in, discussions, web boards. this is also part of the population that is taken into what is it, the actual elite, the quote elite of the group, which are the voices of the community, who make videos, who runs boards, who run discussions, who are actively known as members of the gaming culture that provide a voice to it. This is that 20%.
Yes.
And then there's the 10% of everyone else. Now, I'm not saying that that's the breakdown of the population. That's the breakdown of where the money is coming from. So, with this in mind, who do you think these companies are going to listen to? The 70% who simply buy and don't care, the 20% who are the loudest, or the 10% who are the grandmas or the little Timmies that buy a game every once in a while because either their son bought it for them or their mommy bought it for them? It breaks down to mathematics. As enraged as we are, and fucking, you better believe I'm fucking enraged, they're going to pull this off, and they're going to make money. And it's going to be the beginning of the end of consoles. I'm saying it here now, folks. This is the last generation of consoles.
So you're thinking that the market's just going to fucking crash?
No, the market's not going to fucking crash. The market is going to make them boatloads. And then every other developer that is actively seek to reach an audience of a certain caliber is going to inevitably be drawn back to PCs.
Why?
Look at the state of PC gaming. There have been very little, if any, PC exclusives. Every single game developer has always worked to have something limited down to the capabilities of running on a console. We've always been going for the market share that consoles are better than PCs because there's a bigger audience. No. You can make more money by cheating people with consoles, but that can only limit the capabilities of developers for so long. Since we're now looking at a console that's basically a Windows 8 machine, and yeah, it's not a console anymore. It's a Windows 8 machine from back 2004. So anyone out there saying that consoles are better than PC, no, your console is a PC. Shut the fuck up.
Yep.
It's a crappy PC.
It's a
but it's
welfare PC.
It's a welfare PC, but it's a PC nonetheless. So either like choke on a dick or find something else to shove down your throat because you need to fuck up. That argument is over. The age of the console versus PC is over. It's now the welfare PC or the PC master race. So if the market is going to go like that, and it is going to go like that because that's how people make money, that's how these companies stay afloat. It's through software and through the enforcement of limiting hardware in order to charge people more.
Yes.
That's how it's looking. That's how it's going to be. And if it is like that, this is the last generation of dedicated console systems. You can only limit hardware so long to make an extra buck. Because for the same price that you're going to be able to buy this piece of crap,
okay,
you'll be able to build a system with cheap 2007 to 2008 parts that is better, faster, and in many cases cheaper. And will do exactly everything that this system does, if not more. Ooh, I can tab between different processes. Alt tab, bitch. Ooh, I can watch TV on it. Dude, get a fucking CAD cable intercept and hook it up as an IDE legacy device. Ooh, I can run multiple games and then join on queue here and then play another game. It's called running multiple applications, you stupid fuck. It's not incredible. It's not game-changing. It's not something that, ooh, I just pissed myself from excitement. No. It's not any of those. It's simply a very limited welfare PC that they're charging $300 to $400 to possibly $500 for. Yeah. And that's the reality of it, folks. The PS4 is going to be shit, and you all know it's going to be shit. The Xbox One, I still can't fucking believe they went with that name.
Yeah, that name's horrible.
Like, is there someone who's really? What was it? Jack here sent me a picture of who was responsible for naming said Xbox. The late Count Von Count. One Xbox.
Yes.
Obviously, the late Count Von Count left it in his will that he needs to name the new Xbox One or something like that, because I truly cannot conceive of what. Okay, that's my beef with the system, and my beef with that with the entire franchise in itself. It's dead to me. Consoles are going to die after this generation. We're going to see some incredible stuff out of this, but it's not going to be anything compared to what can be done in a PC and what will be done in a PC, because the developers are going to be pushed to a place where they can make more money for themselves with less of a hassle of limitation.
True.
Now, let's go to the presentation itself. What was it that I said in the last presentation that we did? If whether they opened with something or not?
Oh yeah, we said if they would open up with a shooter, or if they open up with sports, or
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
What was the first, as a gaming console that, according to them, is releasing 15, count them, 15, that's 3 whole hands, boys and girls, 15 new titles at launch this year, and 8 of them, that's, 2 hands with your thumbs curled in, that many, 8 new titles that are going to be brand new IPs specifically for the Xbox One, and you're telling me they only chose to show what? Modern Warfare?
Yeah, well, the Modern Warfare wasn't even like an announcement, because the shit
We
was
already knew
announced.
Ghost was coming out. We already knew Ghost was coming out.
What was very funny, my favorite part of that particular presentation, they're doing a comparison between that and Modern Warfare 3. And what was so laughable was what they were saying, that Modern Warfare 3 was groundbreaking and revolutionary for its time. Bull fucking shit. It was using the same engine that Modern Warfare was
Everyone
using.
fucking knows that,
Yes.
and every fucking
so you're
saw.
gonna be, and they're like, look at the comparisons. You're comparing a game that, what was it, made in 2007 to a game that's being made in 2013.
But that just proves the point that obviously this is going to be a groundbreaking failure in itself. It's going to make money, but from a true gamer standpoint, us, the 20%, it's going to be something that we won't want to take part in. Or if you do want to take part in,
look,
if you do take part of it, understand that you now become part of the 70%, the mindless mass.
No.
people
Look
who
at it this way.
Don't care.
All that presentation, like specifically for the Ghost, Call of Duty Ghost, all it proved was that the current generation of hardware was holding PC gaming back. Because you can't tell me that Black Ops 2 looks substantially better than it does on the consoles. They look the same because they are just dumbed down games. Like, they're not even pushing the envelope.
I told you.
At all.
Because developers need to be dumbed down and unable to push graphics to because they need to work on a fucking console.
So yes, my $1,000 graphics card is being held back by the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360.
Current
Finally.
PC gaming standards are being held back by
Yes.
consoles. I completely
Yes.
agree with you. I've been preaching that for years now.
So
but
now,
you know what's the worst
look
and
at it
most
this way.
serious part?
Once these games come out, you look at the Ghost game, right? Okay, folks, I do not need a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One to enjoy those new fancy schmancy graphics. The
I could
second
have
they
enjoyed those
release
fucking
it,
graphics
yes,
4 years ago.
yes, but we can enjoy it now because your fucking consoles can handle it now. Congratulations.
Fucking hell.
It just annoys me. It's like, yes, the thing is, we have PC-only titles, games that clearly could never run on current gen hardware. They pushed it only for PC. That was the original Crysis. You're going to finally have just a smudge of a taste of that particular game on your current hardware, on your new
From how
boxes.
many years ago
That
when
was
we started running Crysis?
2007, right? 2008, around that was when the game came out. And, all they did was release a dumbed-down port of it for the PS3 and 360. The game was nowhere near the PC version. Even current hardware on PC still struggles to run that damn thing because it was that top of the line. It was pushing the envelope, giving you physics that you're now looking at like, oh my God, it's a whole new world. Yeah, we've been enjoying that world for years. But, it just annoys me that, games
But here's the
like,
thing, that unfortunately the 70% of the audience, the plebeians, the once-in-a-while gamers, are the ones that are holding back the entire industry and the development of it. It's those parents who think they're still cool by playing it once a week or something like that. It's that grandmother or even the college dorm guys who call other guys geeks who play video games but who play video games on the weekend.
Yes.
We're talking about the plebeians out there that unfortunately run the market.
But
what are we going to do? There's nothing that can be done because
but look at
unfortunately
this
the only
way,
thing
though.
that they're good at is breeding. So naturally they're always going to outnumber everyone else.
when you immediately after the presentation was done, I read tons of the comments that were on IGN, on Game Trailers, on a bunch of other news articles, and collectively people are pissed. People are annoyed about this announcement. They are actually saying that Nintendo is going to win by default because the other two are fucking the consumer over. That's what they said.
As much as I want that to be true, and unfortunately, I'm going to say it here first. Jack, I do want that to be true. I do want the Wii to win because, unfortunately, out of all the specs of the systems I've seen, it's the least horrible.
Of course. Look
But
at
it's not
this
going
way.
to.
Oh, here's a kicker. The Wii U is the only backwards compatible next-gen system.
Yep. You know how much that hurts for me to say that? I agree with you, Jack. You're absolutely right. Right now, for this current gen, it's completely been reversed. The Wii U is the single best console in the next-gen system arc, simply because of the fact that they were, and I quote, stupid enough to keep something as simple as backwards compatibility. Okay, but that's enough about the system and enough about the populace. Let's talk about the presentation itself.
Well, the presentation was meh. I mean, hey, look, it was better than the Xbox 360 reveal.
Yeah, that's true.
You didn't have Elijah Wood. You didn't have some girl with a backpack that pulls out, whips out the Xbox 360 and says, "Look at the sexiness." It was a little bit more mature than it was back then.
No, it was a little bit more subdued, but that's not the point. My point is, you've got yourself a brand spanking new system that's supposed to have a shit ton of power. It's supposed to show us brave new gaming worlds. And what's the first thing you do? Fucking sports games?
Yes.
Whose bright fucking idea was that? A racing game? Sports games? Really? You think that is what pushes the envelope in a system?
Well, hey, look, for cars, I think so. I think Forza 5 was definitely one of the better ones to show off.
Congratulations, you have one object that's super high def going really, really fast in an environment that people only see 3 or 4 microseconds. Congratulations. I get that. What I don't get is saying that something along the lines of, say, any new IP reveal would have not been a better hook.
Well,
Everyone's already seen Gran Turismo.
Yeah, but
look at Sony. The first game that
they show off that robot thing that explodes or whatever. I
don't care if it's stupid. It was interesting. It was
it was different. It looked like it was ripped out of Astro Boy. I'm serious. That's what it reminded me, like the art style of everything. But at least Sony is out of the gate showing off a new IP. They didn't just say, well, but look at Microsoft. They are smart.
No. Let's wait.
No, as
before
stupid
we get
as
the
they
haters
are.
that are going to start posting as they're watching this are going to start posting. Yes, the new IP, Quantic whatever or some shit, which is going to be some live action shit, and then we saw 3 seconds of what clearly was a pre-rendered scene.
Yes.
That doesn't count because that's a teaser. We don't know what the game is. We don't know what the hell we're looking at. That doesn't provide us anything. That's a teaser I could have picked up from some guy using, I don't know, Sony Director on fucking YouTube for a non-existent game.
Yes.
Congratulations.
But what I'm saying is they are smart in releasing having Call of Duty as your launch title. The drones just constantly rebuy the game, and look, I'll admit it. I like the game. I enjoy it because it's arcade fun. You just hop in, shoot a few people, and then hop out. There's not too much complexity to it, and that's why people like Call of Duty.
Yes, but it means that their entire focus in the system is only going to be to sell. They're not being, provocative. They're not trying to break new ground.
They're not, but look, you know what? They have a strategy that's going to immediately destroy the Wii U. As much as I have...
Dude, they could sell smoked salmon and they could destroy the Wii U at this point. I'm sorry. I have a greater respect for the Wii U now, but even then, it's still not going to save it.
I know, but I do think that the Xbox, One will outsell the Wii U quicker.
Oh yeah, of course it's going to outsell.
Because they're coming out of the gate with things that just sell. It's the fact of it. You just said it. It's the people that don't necessarily, they're not true gamers. They're just people that, for recreational purposes, pop in NBA Live 2050 and, just play the same fucking game every year. They're going to be the ones that are like, oh my God, look at his sneakers, dog. I can see the shoelaces. Like, I mean, that's really what you're getting out of this. It just looks the same, just a little bit better.
Fucking understand why they would open up with sports games and then talk about sports and more sports.
Well, now we at least know why Nintendo's not getting any EA games, because Microsoft's in bed with them.
And the worst part of all, I've been a Halo fan. I have been a Halo fan from the beginning. Tell him, Jack.
You were. You're the one that bought the fucking collector legendary helmet thing.
Yeah, no. When it came to Halo 1, that was the first game that I got with the net spots that I got as a Christmas gift. This is back in like fucking middle school.
Yes.
Like in the olden days, back in my day. And this is like, that was like a gaming experience for me, because before then I was a Nintendo 64 guy, hardcore Nintendo 64 guy. Like I had a subscription to Nintendo Power magazine. I was that hardcore, and I read it, and it was like fucking religion to me. No, to me, I thought Nintendo was the best end all be all when it came. Then of course I got Game Informer magazine. I soon learned that Nintendo wasn't the only, gatekeeper of the cool. But that's not the point. I followed the Halo franchise from the beginning because I'm a story gamer. And for everyone out there that collectively groans saying that the story is too difficult, I don't get what's going on. Well, that's your own fucking fault for either being mentally retarded or being incapable of reading into the actual meta. So if you're not engaged by the story, then unfortunately that's on you, okay? They could only make it so simple before they start dumbing it down to the point of Gears of War. Okay?
You must kill the drones.
If you find Halo confusing, Gears of War is a perfect game for you. It's that simple, okay? It's the two ends of the spectrum. I'm not saying that Halo is the end-all, be-all of all greatness. No. It's far from it. There are a few other games that are pretty close up there, and we'll get to that in some other episode. But when it comes to the story, nothing has been more well-guarded and more taken care of by a developer than the story for Halo, up until, unfortunately, Bungie had to leave the womb of Microsoft and start on its own. And then 343 Industries was created with a mix of Microsoft management team and a few select members from Bungie that chose to stay. And that's what you have, with 343 Industries. And they're doing their own version of it, and Halo 4 was a success, apparently. I never played it. I saw cutscenes. I've seen the entire playthroughs, but I've never actually played it. So I hold my judgment on that. I would have been excited about a television series concerning the Halo universe, directed by Steven Spielberg, if this was 5 years ago. Halo has gone through way too many changes. The zeitgeist has gone through so many changes. It's not that interesting anymore. For those of you who saw the web series Forward Unto Dawn, yes, it was great. But it's limiting. For those of you who have played the game and know the story and you know exactly what part I'm going to be referring to here, it's limiting. When it comes down to it, any story can't be about the Chief. Many stories are going to have to take place, and if they're smart, they will reference the novels. And for those of you who don't know, novels are small stacks of paper with words written on them. Because I know a majority of our viewership, unfortunately, only know how to read when it comes to incomplete characters and incomplete sentences. But you know what? I digress. You're just, top-notch product of, your country's educational system. Besides that, when it comes to the meta, yes, it gives us a rich universe to make as much shit of it, but I'm not excited about it. And putting Steven Spielberg makes me even less excited, because I definitely want a universe that is trespassing all boundaries of meta when it comes to an IP and the protection of said IP's meta, than some guy who did a few good movies, is the poor man's Lucas, and is fucking like, yeah, I played Pong. Yeah. That's how it looked like. That is the first thing that popped into my mind when I heard the speech of Steven Spielberg when he was saying, like, I'm excited to do this project with the game, whatever its name is. Yep. That's all that went through my mind. I was watching Goofy, be excited about something that he clearly doesn't understand.
Yeah.
I hold my opinion personally, though, until I see the product. And if the
course.
product changes, then you know what? This may be the beginning of actually seeing video games as an art form that should be taken seriously and that can transpass multiple forms of media. Huzzah! We've reached that point. But unfortunately, we've reached that watershed point through the poop deck of this, the Xbox One.
Which, look, for all intents and purposes, they can perform a complete 180. See what I did there? And, reverse some of those clearly stupid decisions. I'm sure you're willing to live with the fact that the thing looks like an old 80s VCR.
I don't care about the look. To be honest, I actually like the look. Then again, I'm more of a pragmatist. If you see everything in my house, I don't have anything that is like single use. I am a multi-use guy. Everything needs to have at least more than one task. And this looks like something that would fit in here. It can easily be fit in multiple positions.
Hey, look, it could play Blu-ray discs, something that the PlayStation 3 did 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah, woohoo. We all remember HD DVDs, okay? That fight is over. Blu-ray one.
Microsoft would have done better had the Xbox 360 included an HD DVD player, as their storage medium. I think it would have done a little bit better. But one thing that we overlooked and we forgot to mention is that some people are saying that one of the capabilities of this console, and I think this is a very smart move, You know how you had on live, and basically the whole premise was
cloud processing.
Cloud processing. What they're going to do, and I think
fancy name, it's not that interesting.
No,
dude.
What I think they're going to do, and this is what they said, they will have certain things be offloaded to servers so they can enhance your game. So for instance, let's say they hit their ceiling, which they will in 3 years. Usually it's about 3 years, and then the developers hit that wall and they're like, yeah, well, we really can't do anything more now, Yeah. I think what they will resort to is finding what little things they can offload to a server for processing. So you're basically having a hybrid approach. And I think that that's a very good idea. That will prolong the system a little bit longer. It will extend the life a little bit.
Okay. And for those of you out there who think the cloud is some mystical thing or magical, no.
Hey, I build clouds. Okay?
What they mean by the cloud is simply a system that has full capabilities with the web. That's it. Yes, you can have shared computation over the internet.
I think
that's incredible.
Yes,
fucking 10 years ago.
No. But look, I think look, for the fact that they're putting this in a home console, I think that's a very smart move.
They did that with PlayStation 3.
No, they didn't.
Yes.
Which game?
It was a shared thing. One, they had the PlayStation at Home, which allowed you to borrow your computational power for either SETI, Hartford. There was a college
that was the backwards approach. We're talking about something that will actually improve the quality of your game.
Your games and entertainment were stored and saved in the cloud with the PlayStation 3.
No, they weren't.
Yes. You could have game updates automatically when you turned it on. Obviously, you can do it when you turned it off, like with the Wii U.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about where literally you can have physics being processed on the server and streamed to your system while you're playing your game. So
I'm sorry, I'm still not impressed. This has been around for years. It was tried by multiple services.
I understand that. It has not been implemented on a console yet.
It's not a console anymore. It's a welfare PC. Can we stop calling it a console?
Okay.
It's not a console.
Okay, but just let's be a little bit professional here. I'm just saying it's a good idea. It is. It's a good thing to implement in a console because it will only prolong the life a little bit longer.
But see, here's the thing. The moment we state it's a good idea, the majority of people that unfortunately are living in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, who have no consistent internet connection, cannot really take from this. And this is one of the few times that I'm on the side of the people living in bumfuck nowhere without internet. Because although it's a great idea, it's not something that's going to be implemented en masse for the system. It's basically, this is the equivalent of a tiny little blue light that only turns on when you're around something that's made of gold. Only a few people are going to see that feature turn on.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it only enhances your game. It's like
agree.
physics,
If
right?
it's something, if we lived in a country with the infrastructure that could be fully implemented and would actually work, I would actually be a little bit excited, because it would mean that we would be looking at the first tenets of a system that is gradually upgradable, that is not physically limited by its own initial limitations. It's something that can be literally grow with the power of the internet. And maybe it can for the select few living in the metropolitan areas that
No,
provide
but
it.
now you're not also not thinking. What about 5 years from now? I'm pretty sure internet infrastructure will be better 5 years from now.
Dude, this is America. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Maybe in a few
5 years
select areas in
ago,
the
look,
metropolitan area.
Andy, 5 years ago, you couldn't get 300 down, 65 up on a home internet connection. It
Dude,
was
unless
not possible
Google
here.
syndicates and begins a rallying call across all of the eastern seaboard and western seaboard to begin the building of its initial infrastructure to bring Google Fiber to every single house in America.
I think
Unless
they will.
that happens,
I don't
no.
think it will be done in 5 years. I definitely think, like 2020 or so, we'll definitely see a massive rollout of Google
There
Fiber.
are way too many people that would lose too much money. That is why something as simple as public transportation has not been fixed in the past 50 years here in the state of New Jersey, a state which, by the way, in the entire fucking country, has the most rail lines in the fucking country. But our transportation system is ranked as the worst in the fucking nation. So it's not a factor of having the infrastructure alone. It's a factor of that infrastructure being set up by people who know what the hell they're doing.
True.
So
also has to do with the fact that New Jersey Transit contracts every other bus line to some other fucking company.
There you go.
New Jersey Transit does not run half of the services you would think they do. They actually use Coach USA, and they have their employees working as contract.
Well, anyway, we're getting off track.
Yes, we're getting off track. But
I apologize.
There are things I clearly hate about it, but there are things that I think show very little promise. But explain to me, why the fuck does the camera have so many ventilation holes?
I don't know. It's an aesthetic. I'm not an engineer. I haven't seen the insides of it.
They did. There is photos. You want some photos? I got you some photos. There's actually photos of the internals of the Xbox One, and I'll post one of the photos in the video. Xbox One. Hey, look, I could type. Teardown. They have actually some photos of the internals. Where is it? Xbox One internal.
I'm sorry, but I've yet to find myself caring for anything coming out of this.
What, out of this whole system?
Yeah.
Every site is like complaining about the fact that it doesn't have, what do you call it? The backwards compatibility and stuff.
How would you not be angry about that?
Well, I don't have any Xbox 360 games.
I still have my 360 games and my Xbox One games. I don't say that I'm going to play them immediately, but at least the choice should be available, especially since I made the fucking investment of buying them new. I'm not going to start bitching and moaning. If that's the decision they want to make, then they just lose a customer. That's the end of that discussion. It pisses me off, though, because I was actually kind of hopeful.
Okay, here we go. These are the photos. I'm going to send them to you. These are... It's by Wired Magazine. They have all these photos of behind the scenes showing off the entire assembly of it. And basically, I'm dead serious, it looks like an Xbox 360. The entire layout of the internals is exactly the same.
Yeah, this looks like crap.
No, but they show you, if you click on one of the photos, they'll show you the internals of the Xbox One.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It looks like crap. I'm sorry.
It looks like the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
And look, they have little diagnostic lights on it. You see that? In the one photo, right to the right of his thumb, there are little, there's 4 little 8s. Those are the little diagnostic lights that I have in my rig.
Yeah, the vents are probably for the IR sensor that probably has a heating element somewhere near it.
No, but look, there's no heatsink.
No, you can't put a heatsink there. It needs to detect heat. If you put a heat sink in there, you get a fucked up reading. This is almost as disappointing as fucking like Iron Man 3 and Star Trek Into Darkness put together. No, this is more disappointing. I'm sorry. This is more disappointing.
Because you know what? Those movies, you don't have to live with it for so long. This, you're stuck with it for the next 8 years.
No, because those movies were like decent in some way, shape, or form. But this is something that I fucking loved. I actually was one of the few people that loved what 360 was doing, even though it was maniacal in its takeover of its own niche market. But like this, why would you do that to us? Why would you do that to yourself? This is so much wrong and so much sad. I can't. I had so much hope for this system.
But ultimately, you were shut down.
Ultimately, I've given the fuck up. That's why it's PC Master Race for me. Thank you very much.
Well, I definitely want to see where this leads. All I know is finally any multi-plats that come out will finally have a little boost.
Yeah.
You know, none of this being held back shit.
You know what? And this finally brings an end to that stupid as shit discussion of always on, whether it's going to happen or not, and backwards compatibility. Yeah, it's shit. Yeah, I'm sad. But when it comes down to it, the rest of you bitches are probably going to buy it because whether you like to admit it or not, you're all part of the 70%.
So that, I guess, this about wraps up the episode. Is there anything else you want to add?
I don't even want to add platypus to this episode. I am that sad.
That's sad. Well, all those who listen to the show, thank you for joining us. I will put in the links below, links to where you can see the photos. Also, definitely sound off below. You know, tell us your favorite, least favorite parts of the new Xbox One. We will have open discussions with you guys. So if you guys are saying we're wrong for some reason, we'll definitely debate with you guys.
Oh, and if you want us to actually do like a Google Hangout where we keep it open for everyone, send fucking messages to this guy demanding it. Because I've been trying to get us to do a Google Hangout for a while now.
Yeah, but we'll also, if there's anyone out there that wants to defend Microsoft, you're more than welcome to join us on our next episode.
We want viewpoints on this, okay?
Yes.
What do you think? The 70%, the 20%, and the 10%. Let's hear what you think. We probably won't hear the 10% because they don't know how to use a computer. But still, the rest of you, tell us what you think. And stuff.
Yes. Yeah, so this year is starting to look really disappointing in video
Unfortunately.
games. Take care, guys. Look out for future episodes.
Fucking, I'm buying a PC. Shit.